Thanks for introducing. Today, we're going to talk about how to create a killer coaching package that sells. And this is using my own signature methodology. I'm going to teach you guys how to create your own signature methodology, but this is using mine, which is the 5 C's of building a 6-figure coaching practice. So I want to walk you guys through that. There we go. So today I want to give you, I'm actually not going to give you too much background, I guess, because Julie kind of did that for me, which was really nice. But we'll move straight from just talking a little bit about my background into the training. I want to cover with you guys what works when it comes to coaching packages versus what doesn't work. I want to walk you through how to create a signature coaching methodology, which is really cool and unique. I want to walk you guys through how to create a coaching package resource toolkit for your clients, which is going to go hand in hand with your coaching methodology. And then I want to talk to you guys about briefly how to scale and simplify your coaching packages so it doesn't feel all over the place, so you don't feel burnt out. And then at the end, I'll give you a special offer and talk about how to stay connected. All right. So a little bit of background on me, not too much, because again, Julie got it covered. I spent 10 years in corporate America in corporate communications, in different Fortune 500 companies. And for me, I just realized that was not for me. The corporate life was not for me. And I really just wanted the freedom to run my own business, my own coaching business, like all of you guys, I felt called to serve. The only part of my corporate job that I enjoyed was the part where I got to coach direct reports, right? But I didn't at the time know how to translate that into a career. So I did a lot of soul searching. I'm sure you guys have all gone through something similar. I did a lot of research on careers. I found out about coaching, and I was scared to take the leap. It's scary to jump out of the corporate world into the coaching world. But lo and behold, I got laid off. So I took that as go time. That was my sign from the universe to go for it, to start my own business. Right. I'm also IPEC, just like you guys. I love IPEC. IPEC, these are my people. I literally remember the first day that I sat down in Mod 1, and I was still really kind of shooken up from my kind of toxic corporate world. And the first day I sat down in Mod 1, I just remember listening to people talk. I'm an introvert, so I do a lot of listening. And I just remember thinking, I got the goosebumps, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is my tribe. These are my people. And it was also in that moment that I knew I'm going to do whatever it takes to become a successful coach and to stay, as a full-time coach and not to have to head back to the corporate world. So when I first started out, I was career coaching. That's how I got started. I did it because my client was a former version of me, right? She felt unhappy in her corporate job, and she wanted to find a job she loved. So that's how I got started. And, it was a rough start at first. I remember I was living in San Francisco, across the bridge. And so I kept driving into the city over the bridge 3 times a week, going to networking events, trying to figure out how do I get these clients? And I never got one client that way. So after a month of that, I was like, no, I'm not doing this way anymore. And I had to stop and think and realize, okay, wait a second here. Let's just, be logical. I'm a corporate communications professional formerly. Why don't I create content instead of, going to these networking events? Why don't I create content that's going to be compelling, engaging, and inspiring to attract clients to me? So that's when I shifted my strategy, and I started, attracting clients that way. And that's how I built a 6-figure coaching business. As a career coach, my first year was through content marketing. I don't do Facebook ads. I don't run a ton of webinars or challenges. It was through, virtually content marketing and the 5 steps that I'm going to talk to you guys about. But what I started to see with my career coaching business, I started attracting, you guys might notice this too with your own business. I started attracting more women. They didn't want to get another corporate job. They just wanted to learn how to leave their corporate job, become a coach. So they wanted to learn how to replicate my system. How did you do that? How did you, replace your corporate income the first year? So that's when I pivoted into business coaching. I would say more coach-sulting almost, because I have this formula that worked for me, and now I'm sharing that with people. So we talked about that bit of it, and my transition. So that's what I teach now, is the 5 C's of building a 6-figure coaching business. That's my signature methodology. That's my coaching package that I'm teaching to you guys. Already talked about where I've been featured, which is also what I teach coaches, is how to get featured in all these different publications, because, then you get in front of your audience, you get more eyeballs on your expertise, and you attract more of your ideal client to you. I am based out of Denver right now. I move around a lot, but I'm based out of Denver. I live here with my significant other. He's a personal trainer, and my 2 cats, Mongo and Jujubee. And I always have to throw in a picture of them in case they start meowing. You guys know who's talking. Okay, so let's get to it. So when it comes to coaching packages, what doesn't work? Let's just start with the what doesn't work. The first thing that I would say doesn't work, because this whole lesson is I'm teaching you guys what does work, but first we got to cover what doesn't. Shorter engagements. So when I say shorter engagements, I'm talking about like the hourly one-off coaching. And I say this because it's, true, massive transformational change doesn't usually happen in just a one-off session, right? Of course, a client can get a ton of value from one coaching session, but true, massive transformational change, that's going to happen in a longer coaching engagement. I read somewhere that it takes, I know this is like probably a book on habits or something. It takes 90 days to form a habit, right? So if you think about that, plus whatever goal your client wants to achieve, a longer engagement's probably going to be a better bet. Lower ticket. So when I say a lower ticket, what I mean by that is coaches undervaluing themselves. You guys are super powerful coaches. You are trained at IPEC, the best coaching school in the world. You all have expertise. Undervaluing yourself, lower ticket. Not only is it not doing you justice, it's also, this is how coaches burn out, right? This is how you get totally burnt out. You feel like you got to hustle to get enough, sales to pay the bills for the month. And that's not a way to live, right? We don't want to burn ourselves out. And also then we're no use to our clients, right? When we're super burnt out. One-off digital courses, it's interesting. When I first started, I was thinking of going that route. But what I learned over time is digital courses one-off, like separate from your big coaching package. And some of you, if you've ever launched one, you'll know it takes a lot of work to successfully launch a one-off digital course. You can do it for sure, right? People launch digital courses, but I guess the point I'm trying to make is it's much easier. It's just easier to sell a higher ticket coaching package that's massive transformation, and potentially, and here's the cool thing you can do, we'll talk about this, that includes, if you already have a digital course, I would tell you, include it in your high transformation coaching package. So there's a way you can mesh it together. And that's what I recommend versus one-off digital courses. The other thing that doesn't work is too many choices, right? So if you're offering 3, 4, 5 coaching packages, that's overwhelm for the client. They go to the services page and they're like, wait, what? Right? There's too many options, because a client who's in pain, who comes to you, to your website, that they don't know what they need, right? So if you're like, yeah, you can get 4 sessions, 6 sessions, 12 sessions, they don't know, right? All they know is they have a pain point, and they're looking to you to help them solve that. So really, I challenge you guys to be thinking about, it's up to you as the coach, as the expert, to create a program that you can tell them, hey, this is the program, this is the length of engagement that's going to get you from pain to dream, right? So that's what I challenge you guys to do. So what's the flip of this? So what am I going to be teaching you how to do? What does work? Well, this is my specialty, right? This is what I teach. This is how to create a high value. So when I say high value, it's like blowing the client away. They can't believe how much value they're getting from this package, right? High ticket, high transformation coaching package. Now, why do you want to sell high value, high ticket, high transformation? Well, first, you can't create a six-figure coaching business by the hour or selling in bundles. It's just not a sustainable business model. It's exhausting, right? We already talked about creating transformational change. High transformation takes time, right? It takes time to go through transformation. And we want to, of course, we want to do our clients justice. We don't want to take on a client if we don't have enough time to really get them through that transformational change. And high ticket, when I say high ticket, it's like when somebody pays more for coaching, you guys have probably heard this before. When somebody pays more for coaching for anything, not just coaching, it means they have skin in the game, right? It means that they're fully committed to showing up, right? They're going to show up differently when they have skin in the game. And we all want to work with clients like that, right? I know I do. So that's what it's about, is creating this level 5 experience where everybody's winning coming out of this, right? The client gets high value and transformation. We are able to scale our business and support our families. We're able to have time to spend with our families, right? It's just a win-win all around. Okay, so I want to teach you 3 different principles when it comes to creating this amazing coaching package. The first is creating your signature coaching methodology. So what is a signature coaching methodology? It is 3 to 5 steps or pillars to get your client from pain to dream. Okay, so I'm going to say that again. A signature coaching methodology is 3 to 5 steps or pillars to get your client from pain to dream. So this is something that's going to be unique to you. Each of you will have your own unique signature coaching methodology to get your clients from pain to dream. Now, there are 2 types of methodologies you can land on, okay? And here it is again, in case you didn't catch it the first time. 3 to 5 steps to get your clients from pain to dream. That's a signature coaching methodology, and it's unique to you. It's unique to your niche. Okay, so here's the first example, because there's 2 ways you guys can do this. The first way is steps. So when I say steps, what I mean is it's sequential. It's sequential, right? So this is an example of my program, my coaching package, the 5 C's of building a 6-figure coaching business. You will see here that each of these steps in my signature methodology builds on the next step, right? So you need to have the right niche and your messaging has to be on point before you can even worry about creating a killer coaching package. Once you've got that coaching package, you can launch your brand, brand yourself, brand your profiles. I call it curtains up because, when your website goes live, you want people excited about it. Step 4, client attraction strategy, and step 5, closing the deal. So the point here that I'm trying to make to you guys with this example, each of my steps in my program builds on the one before it. So this is example number 1 of how you can create a signature methodology: steps, sequential. Okay. Here's example number 2. It's a little bit blurry here, but I think you guys will get the drift. This example number 2 is you create pillars. So pillars. So what do I mean by pillars? What I mean by pillars is it's not sequential. That's really all I mean. They can come in any order. You can dip in and out of each, right? You can see these kind of overlap. This is an example here. I just did a random Google search for health coach. And this is move daily, whatever that is, but it's for health, right? So like with this health coach, you could have a pillar of movement, right? Movement's going to be important. Another pillar might be nutrition, right? They have 5 different pillars. And now here's the thing, this health coach might work with their clients to move in and out of these pillars fluidly, right? It's different from my program. My program is sequential. This is fluid pillars. You can dip in and out of each. In fact, some of these pillars go in tandem, right? So right? A health coach, it's not like they're going to say, oh, the nutrition has to be perfect before we worry about the movement. Like, no, those are probably, you're going to probably dip in and out of each. So, this is a second example. Now, remember, regardless of whether you go with chronological steps or pillars like this example, at the end of the day, and I'm just going to keep saying this, when it comes to creating a signature methodology, what it's all about is getting your clients from pain to dream. That's what it's all about. And when I say dream or goal, this is typically the what in your I help who with what statement. So I'm sure you guys have all heard about the I help who with what. So whatever your what is, your signature methodology is moving your client from their point of pain to the dream, the what. Okay. So you need to build a bridge to move her from where she is now to where she wants to be. That's what she hired you to help her do, right? So signature coaching methodology, I do want to, just kind of briefly talk about why create one, so that you guys kind of have a taste of that. This is going to be a unique value proposition. So when I say unique value proposition, it sets you apart. Okay. Sets you apart. If you can imagine, and this happens all the time, right? We have clients that'll get on the phone with us and they're talking to two other coaches that serve a similar niche, right? So I want you to imagine you're the client and coach number one that you're talking to offers one-off hourly sessions. They're like, yep, one-off hourly sessions, it's this price. Okay. You get off the phone. You talk to coach number two. Coach number two says, yeah, I offer a package of 10. Okay. Get off the phone. You talk to coach number three. Coach number three says, okay, yeah, I offer you a package, but really I'm going to walk you through my unique coaching signature methodology, which is going to move you from this point to this point. Let me share my 5 steps with you, right? That coach, that last coach, that's probably the one you're going to go with, right? Because they've got this framework, right? You want to always feel like your clients want you to feel like you got them, right? So when you have a framework, when you have a method, when you have a formula, that kind of makes a client feel held, right? Like I've got a plan, right? And that's what we want. This is also going to elevate you in the marketplace as an expert, having expert authority, which is so important. And the thing is, when I say expert authority, it's when you have a specific method formula, right? That's going to elevate you as an expert. It just does. And when that happens, you make more sales, right? The first 2 things equate to the third thing. When you can present, I have a unique value proposition that is different from 20 other coaches, and it raises you as an expert in your niche, that's when you're going to make more sales. It's also just more efficient, to be honest with you guys, when you're coaching a client. If you have a client for 6 months or whatever, I know a lot of you probably use assessments or you give homework or whatever it is. If you're just sending a bunch of one-off, like, oh, here, you need this, you need this, you need this, and you're working with all different types of people, again, it's just exhausting. So this is more efficient when you've got a method, a formula. You already know what comes next for the client, right? So that's going to allow you to scale as well. Built-in content marketing topics. Once you have a signature methodology, I never have to, you guys, wonder, even I was invited here to give this little presentation here. I didn't have to scramble to think, what am I going to talk about? This is part 2 of my signature methodology, right? So once you have this signature methodology, you've got content marketing, right? If you're looking to post something on social media on a Tuesday, you want to be inspired, look at your method, your formula, pick a mini part of that to post about. So this is a built-in content marketing calendar. And again, getting interviewed. So again, what part of what I, teach is that you guys go out there and get interviewed on other people's podcasts and get some publicity. And the way to do that is to have this unique formula that you can come onto platforms like this and talk about, right? So this is why I want you guys to create a signature coaching methodology. So how do you do it? How do you create it? A couple foundational pieces you need to have before you just start to kind of whip out this coaching methodology. Most important to create a signature coaching methodology, you do need a niche, right? And I always say that's the Kool-Aid I drank. Everybody's drunk a different Kool-Aid. But if you're going to create this signature methodology, it has to be tied back to a niche. A coaching signature methodology for a CEO who wants to build a better work culture, that's going to be very different than a signature coaching methodology for a corporate director who wants to transition to a new job. Right? Can you imagine working with those two people? Two totally different packages, methodologies. A divorced woman who wants to find love again, right? That is a totally different method than the first two. So again, you just need to land the plane with your niche, your I help who with what, so you can create a methodology that is specific to the human being who you help. A way that this will also help you is running ideal client avatar surveys. So this is where you interview, it's like an informational interview, some ideal client avatars, some humans that either you'd love to work with, or maybe they're past clients, and you ask them about their pains and their dreams and what keeps them up at night. Right? Or like IPEC had a question, like if you rub the magic lamp, what would you want to create like 1 year from now? Right? So you got to pull out their pains and their dreams. That's going to be clues to help you build out this methodology. So, this is something I provide a script for my clients. I provide them to run these surveys, and then we go back and we look at the patterns and the trends of the pains and the dreams. That's going to help us build out a method. The last thing, you want to look at this holistically, and you have to attach your signature methodology to an expected outcome, right? So this is the what in your I help who with what statement. So when you're talking to your ideal client avatars, you're running surveys and you're saying, hey, what's the dream? What's the goal? What's the vision? Right? If I could wave a magic wand, what do you want to achieve? Right? This is the expected outcome that you want to build your signature coaching methodology towards, right? So at the end of the coaching package, they are, closer to that expected outcome. Okay. So there's a couple different areas of inspiration, like, okay, how do I get inspired? Where do I even start, to start to pull out ideas for a signature coaching methodology? So the first place is, and this is what a lot of us do, this is what I did, is based on your own experience, right? Most of us are coaching a former version of us. So, go back, look at your own experience. My 5 C's of building a 6-figure coaching business, that was just based on my own experience. What I had to go through, the trials and tribulations to get to 100K plus my first year to get to that mark. So what I did was I just went back. I looked at all my old emails, my old Google Docs, everything. And I just looked at, okay, what did I do to get here so I can teach that to others? So, go back and look at your own journey. If you're coaching a former version of you, be thinking about this too. Where in my journey do I wish I would have had help, right? You can build that into your method. Pro bono coaching, or even if you run a beta test, when I first started out career coaching, I did some pro bono coaching because I wanted to do a test run of what I thought this method could look like and get feedback. It was also great to get testimonials that way, but that pro bono testing allowed me to look for trends. I got to kind of play with what I want my signature methodology to look like. Right? It was like, what stuff did they ask for that I didn't have that I could add? That was a really cool test run. Of course, our coach certification material. So, IPEC is like a wealth of knowledge. It's crazy. It's like you almost forget how much they give you to work with, so go back through all your IPEC materials and look at it through the lens of your ideal client avatar, your niche, and ask yourself, which of these tools are relevant to my human who I'm specifically helping, right? And you can bake that into your signature methodology. You can bake it in, right? So that's another way. Niche certification material. So when I say niche certification material, I'll give you the example. When I started out in career coaching, coming out of IPEC, I still kind of felt like, okay, can I take some advanced career coaching courses? And I did that. I took a couple online courses that gave me even more tools that I could bake into my own signature methodology. Books, right? I've got a library shelf of books on business. Like I can't even tell you guys. And if I'm sure all of you have books related to your niche, thumb through those and get inspired and you'll see patterns too. A lot of my books on business say the same stuff. Choose a niche, right? Build out a highly valuable package, right? So look at the books on your shelf related to your niche and look for trends. That's going to be an inspiration for you as you build out your own signature methodology. Good old fashioned Google. Literally, you could Google your I help who with what statement and see what pops up online. The blogs that pop up. These are all areas of inspiration. And lastly, competition research. I do an exercise with my clients where we build out something called a competition matrix. And in that competition matrix, we look at competitors, not to compare, but just to, look for areas of inspiration, right? What are the patterns we're seeing and what's being offered? And this is a good one. What's missing? What's missing when you look at your competitors' offerings and their methodology? What are they missing? What's the secret sauce you might have that they don't? So you don't need to do all these things, but just pick a couple if you're looking for places to get inspired. Okay. So there's two different ways now. So now we're inspired, right? We've done the research. We feel inspired. It's like, okay, now we have to put this to paper, right? Now we have to make it real, get it out of our head or our notes in our Google Doc and create it into a structured signature methodology. So there's two ways to do this. Way number one is you can list out all the baby steps. So when I say baby steps, it's like a brain dump. It's literally, you're just listing out all the stuff that your client has got to do to get from pain to dream. So you could try to list it in order, but at the end of the day, it's just a bunch of bullet points of the parts of the package or program that at some point your client's going to need to tackle to get to the end goal. Okay. So here's an example. And I'm using career coaching because that's how I got started. Career coaching. So if you're a career coach, you're sitting down, you did all your research, you're inspired. Now I'm just going to brain dump on a whiteboard or a Google Doc. What are all the itty bitty baby steps that I know I got to take my client through to help them land their dream job? Right. So again, I'm keeping that expected outcome in mind. So literally, this is just a brain dump of little bitty baby steps. You'll notice here, there's some IPEC related stuff, right? Overcoming limiting beliefs, imposter syndrome, values, visioning, right? There's a lot of juicy stuff in there that was highly relevant to that niche. Okay. The next step here, this is the important part. So now I've listed out, I've done a brain dump, all my itty bitty baby steps. And now I'm going to look for patterns. So you can see what I've circled here. I've circled, okay, what do all these things have to do with each other? How could here's the question I asked myself. How could I create all these itty bitty baby steps into 3 to 5 pillars or buckets, right? So the way I thought about it originally was with overcoming limiting beliefs, imposter syndrome. I was like, okay, that bucket, that's overcoming self-sabotage. Okay, cool. That's bucket number one. Bucket number two on the left, values, visioning, all the assessments you do, strengths finders, personality assessment. I was like, okay, that's what I'm going to do with them to help them identify their dream career. Right. And it goes all the way through, right? Resume, LinkedIn. I was like, okay, that all has to do with branding, how you market yourself. Right. All the stuff on interviewing and negotiating. I'm like, cool. That's once they land the interview. That's another bucket. So you see how I did this, guys? I took a list of stuff, just a brain dump, and I categorized it, right, by bigger topics. Another kind of fun way that you could do this exercise is go back and do some sticky notes. right? You could take all the itty bitty baby topics, stick each of them on one sticky note, put them all over your white wall, and then organize your sticky notes into clusters according to, the bigger topic, right? So that's just another idea here. So there's a second method. There's another way, if that feels overwhelming, like, I don't know all the baby steps I have to walk my clients through. You could do it a different way. And this is actually the way that I did it with this program. And it is starting the opposite way. So starting with big buckets or the big pillars and then working your way backwards, right? So it's actually doing opposite. So this program that I teach, Build a Six-Figure Coaching Business, I knew based on my own journey that there were 5 buckets. I knew there were, right? Based on everything I read, everything I learned, all the courses I've taken. So I knew it was, you have to choose your niche. You have to create a killer coaching package. Curtains up, launch your brand. You got to get the tools right and brand yourself. Client attraction strategy. You got to have a system to attract clients, and then closing the deal, right? Like, I knew there are 5 different buckets that I have to account for. So once I had the 5 buckets, I started big and I worked my way backwards, right? Then I went through and said, okay, choosing your niche. Oh my gosh, how am I going to help somebody do that? Well, we have to validate the market. We have to run surveys. I have to create survey scripts. We have to do a competition matrix. We have to create an ideal client avatar profile, right? I went back and I filled in all the details underneath each of the bigger buckets. And PS, you will add to this over time, and that is okay, right? You'll add to this over time, and that's okay. So once you have this part of it done, like, okay, now I know my 3 to 5 steps, pillars or buckets. Now we got to give the package a title, right? So that's the next part of it here. So how do you do that? Well, your I help who with what statement is, the first thing that you want to kind of keep in mind here, because the what needs to be reflected in the title of the package, right? The what has to be reflected in the title. And you want to use the words that your clients use, right? So that's why I have people run ideal client avatar surveys, is because we're getting the words of our clients. And those are the words, the way the client describes the dream or the goal. That's how you want to title the package. The title needs to reflect the outcome that your clients want to achieve. Okay. So here's just a couple examples. When I was career coaching, I called it the Career Bliss Coaching Program, because they wanted to achieve career bliss. They hated their jobs, helped me find a job I love. Now, as a business coach and consultant, my package is Build a Six-Figure Coaching Business. Why? Because that's the outcome that I'm helping people achieve. Another business coach has a method called the Expert Accelerator Method. A health coach might have 10 pounds in 90 days. A leadership coach might have C-suite peak performance formula. You see how all of these reflect the outcome that the ideal client avatar wants to achieve, right? And so I would say go with some clarity and simplicity over cute. That's what I would recommend. And again, I just want to reinforce to you guys, you will tweak your signature methodology over time, 100%. Every year I do a 2.0 version. And so expect that, right? It's not about perfection. It's about imperfect action. It's about just showing your clients that you got a plan, you got a framework, you got a method. And will you tweak that over time? Of course you will, right? That's a part of the process. The second principle that I want to share when it comes to creating this awesome coaching package is creating a resource toolkit. So what is a resource toolkit? This is the package deliverables. This is the stuff, right? This is the stuff that makes it easier for your client to get from pain to dream. This is what you're going to use. This is like your toolkit that you're going to use as you walk your clients through that signature methodology. So that's what the toolkit is. So my analogy is, it's kind of like you could think about your client as this human who tells you, I want to climb Mount Everest. I want to climb up to the top there, right? And the peak of the mountain is the dream or the goal. And right now they're in pain. They're at the base of the mountain. And you, as the coach, you're the Sherpa. You've got the knowledge, you've got the expertise, right? You can tell them, grab this rock, put your foot here, keep your mind right, right? You're coaching them up this mountain. The key with the resource toolkit is you want to be thinking about what tools does your client need to climb the mountain, right? What's the stuff they need? The tool, how can I make it easier for them to get up this mountain? You could be the best, mountain climber coach in the world, but you probably still need to arm your client with tools, boots, good mountain climbing boots, a harness, a helmet, a pick, right? So that's what I want you guys to be thinking about. Think of the mountain climbing tools as your package deliverables or your toolkit. This is the stuff your client needs in addition to the signature methodology to reach their goals. Okay. So there are 4 types of package deliverables. So you can think about it as 4 types. You don't need all of these, but I'm just kind of planting seeds for you guys to think about. What would I put in my toolkit? So access, information, community, tools, and resources. So let me walk you through what each of these are. And again, you don't have to have all of these, but I want to give you guys some seeds to plant, and you can choose which of these do I want to add into my little toolkit, right? So deliverable number 1 is access. So this is basically the more access that they have to you, the higher the price, right? That's usually how people scale. The way you scale is, hey, if you offer one-on-one coaching, that's a higher price. If it's group coaching, it's a lower price, right? If it's just a digital course, it's the lowest price of all, right? So access is a tool. The more access you can give them, the higher the value of the price. Unlimited email access, right? That's something I give my clients, unlimited email. You could use Voxer, right? That's like, I don't know, kind of like a walkie-talkie app on your phone. That's another way to give people access, right? Telling a client, hey, this is part of my package. You get this access to me, right? That's huge. That's highly valuable. A private Facebook group for just your clients, right? And you can tell them, hey, in between calls, if you have a question, post in the group. If you need feedback, post in the group, right? So these are all different ways you can give somebody access to you. And this makes your coaching package highly, highly valuable, but you have to express to your client that this is a part of your package on the discovery call, on your services page, right? The second way to do this is providing information, right? So we can get on a coaching call and we're going to coach our hearts out. But what about in between calls, right? There's probably supplemental information that your clients might need in between calls. So, there's a couple different ways to do this. Some people will create like a client portal. Like I know I was using Dubsado for a while. I think, is it like Coaches Accountable? There's like different platforms that clients can access information in between calls. I now use an on-demand learning center, right? Which has videos and worksheets and assignments. So you don't need all this, but I just want you to think about, how does my client get info in between calls, right? How do I get them that information? That becomes a part of your toolkit, right? That's highly valuable. The third is community. This is sometimes an overlooked part of a coaching package that is highly valuable. If you have even if you're just doing one-on-one coaching, if you allow your clients a way to connect, if it's a private Facebook group, after, all this stuff is over in the world with COVID, in-person events, that's a way to develop community. Just thinking about what are some opportunities I can give my people to collaborate, network, and mastermind, and to celebrate and keep each other accountable. So think about, what can I add to my toolkit to build community? And then the last one, which is the meatiest one, is the tools and resources, right? The stuff. Again, IPAC gave us so much tools and resources. So whether you have assessments, some of you send your clients a book. I give a couple examples here. A career coach, they might give a resume template, a LinkedIn profile template. A dating coach maybe has a template for a dating profile, like how you set that up. If you're more spiritual, maybe you provide a guided meditation audio. So this is tools, resources that go into your toolkit. A health coach, a meal planning list. What an awesome tool, right? To help your client get up the mountain. So an example here is my build a six-figure coaching business toolkit. This is like my coaching business in a box. And I'm not just handing this to people. This is in addition to my coaching, right? So on the left-hand side is my coaching options, right? Whether you go one-on-one or group. And on the right-hand side is all this stuff. This is my toolkit, right? It's an on-demand learning center with videos and worksheets. It's a ClickFunnels video series template. Like, it's all this stuff I had to create by myself that I'm like, I just want to make these guys, I want to make your life easier. Let me give you the stuff, social media graphics, email scripts, LinkedIn outreach scripts, discovery call script, right? I just want to show this to you guys because I really want to inspire you to think about what is an awesome looking toolkit I can give to my people to help them on their journey. And that should be in addition to you coaching your signature coaching methodology. Okay. One thing I want to say here is that the total value of your deliverables. So all of this stuff, the total value, because each of these things has a value attached to it. There's a value attached to a website copy template. There's a value attached to a discovery call script. The total value of your deliverables should be about double the actual price of the package. So if you're selling a package and you feel kind of nervous, like, oh, that's a lot of money I'm asking for, just pump up your resource toolkit to be so highly valuable that it's about double what you're actually asking for, right? Because then that way, the cost of your package becomes a no-brainer for the client, right? They can get it. They can see why it's worth what you're asking. This is kind of small font here, but I just wanted to kind of give you an idea. This is my old career coaching package. And again, on the left-hand side, this is from my old website here. On the left-hand side, I give a little blurb about what is this package, right? Like, why should you care? How is it going to help you achieve your dream? On the right-hand side, I listed my toolkit, right? My toolkit, all this stuff. On this, this is all kind of sliced and diced parts of my website. These were some of my steps, right? So then I told people in my services page, why should you care about each of these steps? I gave them a little blurb and I explained why each step was pivotal in moving the client from pain to dream. So, and that's the name of the game, so that they understand why each step is necessary to get them to the larger goal, right? That's what it's all about. The last thing I want to talk to you guys about is scaling and simplify, right? Scale and simplify. I'm not going to go too far down the rabbit hole with this one, but it does have to do with your coaching packages. So again, I'm reinforcing when it comes to scaling, when it comes to simplifying, the stuff that doesn't work, right? Again, we said the shorter engagements, the lower ticket, the one-off digital courses, and just way too many choices, right? So I'm just reinforcing to you guys, when it comes to scaling and simplifying, this is the stuff that's going to make it difficult. What does work? Right? What does work here? Well, when it comes to scaling and simplifying, my recommendation to you guys, right? So if you have a bunch of different offers, right? And we kind of already talked about that, a bunch of different offers, and it makes it so confusing for the client. I challenge you guys to provide 2 offers. Now, the cool thing is you can use the same methodology, right? So like my build a 6-figure coaching package, I have 2 offers. It's the same method. I have a one-on-one coaching package, if you just want to be with me one-to-one, and I have a group coaching package if you want to be with the group. But I don't have to reinvent the wheel. It's the same exact methodology, and it's the same, it's the same exact toolkit. The only difference between the VIP one-on-one and, downselling into a group, right? Because it's 2 price points. The only difference is the amount of access to me, right? That's the only difference. So I encourage you guys to think about, when it comes to simplifying and scaling, a one-on-one coaching package with your signature methodology and your toolkit. And then, a group coaching package is an awesome one, to also offer. The benefits of this is that you'll capture different price points, right? So the people that say, oh, the one-on-one is out of my budget, it's out of my price range. And I know most of you guys, you want to help everyone. It's painful to turn people away. So that's why it's really cool to say, hey, I got a group, it's half the price of that, right? And that's, again, level 5. It's a win for the client, and it's a win for you because you won't burn out, and you can take on more clients and you can scale, all right? And that's what it's all about. Now, I will say, I totally get it. Not everybody's ready for a group yet. And that's okay. What I would say is, we want to work towards that eventually, but for the here and now, just think about, providing two offers. And I would try to think about it with the 2. Let's say you're doing 2 one-on-one offers. The client is probably going to go with the one that's less expensive, probably, right? If I say, hey, I've got a year-long coaching program and a 6-month, they're probably going to go with the 6-month. So if you go with that method, what I would tell you is add an extra offer that's double or more for a duration, and expect for them to go with the baseline, right? The one that's the shorter duration. Here's an example of scaling. Now, this is advanced. This is not for people maybe just starting out. But at a certain point, this was a game changer for me, you guys. So I did just want to kind of share this. At a certain point, when you feel like you've got the signature methodology, you feel like, okay, I got this, I got the toolkit. To make your life easier, you want to create some kind of on-demand learning center. So again, if some of you have digital courses, this is such a cool thing to offer with the coaching package. It's a supplemental tool. I don't sell this one off, right? This is one of my modules from my coaching program. This is part of my on-demand learning center. So I'm giving people mini videos and worksheets, right? And it's just such a cool add-on for clients to have in addition to my coaching. And it makes it easier to, showcase the value of my coaching package. So this is advanced. This is not something you have to do right away. But, this is the stuff I work on with my clients who are ready to scale. Okay. And then again, I just want to plant some seeds of, excitement for you guys. This works, creating a highly valuable signature methodology, an awesome toolkit. You blow the clients away. My client, Krista, she was able to sell a almost $14,000 coaching package doing exactly this, just what I taught you guys. My client, Vanessa, she got to 6 figures in her first year in business doing this. So I just want you guys to kind of leave this feeling excited and to have fun with this because it works. And then the last part that I would share with you, and then I'm going to wrap it up here, is just a reminder. So I have to give you the caveat that creating this highly valuable, awesome coaching package, it is a piece of a larger strategy to get to that 6-figure mark. So, again, this is my method, right? If you don't have your messaging, your niche on point, that's going to make it very hard, right? To create this awesome coaching package. So step 1, got to get the messaging right with your niche. You got to position yourself in the market. The coaching package is part 2. Part 3 is launching your brand, right? So you got to be branded the right way. You've got to have the right tools, the right systems. You don't want your website to go live and it's crickets, right? Like you want to have like a communication launch strategy to get people excited. Step 4, client attraction system, right? You've got to know each day, what are the tasks I have to do to attract my people to me, right? There are certain things you got to do each day. So that's part 4. And part 5, close the deal, is just, getting comfortable with selling and a discovery call script, right? It should never feel icky or weird. We're providing an amazing service. So this is the larger, process that I have to kind of reiterate that it does take more than building the package. It's the whole deal here. So that's it. The one thing I want to share with you guys is right now I'm doing these 30-minute business audits, which are complimentary. And they're a lot of fun for me because then I get to meet you guys and look at your businesses. So essentially what I do with these audits is I go through your stuff. Like I go through your website, I'll look at your coaching package, I go through your social media, just what you have posted online. And wherever I see gaps, I'll give you some suggestions, right? I'm saying it's limited time because I'm getting nervous that at a certain point I can't keep doing these when my schedule gets too crazy. So I just have to say that at a certain point I might have to cut it off. But for the here and now, and for sure for you guys, I want to be able to do these audits with you. So if you want to do an audit, just shoot me an email. You could DM me on Facebook or LinkedIn. You could drop a comment under this recording, whatever, and I'll send you info to set it up. And that's it. Stay in touch with me. That's all my info. I'm very active on LinkedIn. I have a Facebook group, 6-figure coaching business group. And I invite you guys to join me there as well. And that's it.